Hi, I'm Shane Curry, and today I have the pleasure of speaking to fellow New Jerseyan, Robert Bannon. Robert's an accomplished singer and actor. He's been in numerous productions in and around New York City and on the small screen. You may have seen him on SNL. He recently released his first solo single, From a Distance, and is working on releasing his first album, Unfinished Business, in 2021. Robert, it is great to have you here.
Shane, it is a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for that introduction, and thank you for having me on to chat with you today.
Yeah, sounds great. I want to start off just because, I'm a music guy.
Sure, yes.
Can we dive in just real quick to the, your whole experience with recording this album? I read online you're doing it all yourself, or you're doing it in your home studio at least?
And I don't know how to do any of that stuff. It's been a learning process.
That's awesome.
November 2019, I did a one-man show at 54 Below. I've been doing this one-man show called Unfinished Business for the past few years. It's my story about leaving the music business and being a singer and entertainer, and then coming back to it after a 10-year break. So I did the show, and then the music director of it said to me, it'd be fun if we did a single. And that was in November, and a single turned into an album because I never like to do anything small. I don't know. And then the day we were supposed to go in the studio and record the first song, the engineer called and said, I don't feel well. And he ended up being one of the first people in New Jersey who had COVID.
Wow.
So then it became a situation of like, what are we going to do? Like, do we stop the album? I had already started the album being arranged, and I had already spent money in arrangements and asked musicians to play on it and came up with ideas. So then I said, like, I could buy equipment and I could sing from my house, but I don't really know how to do it. So we did a bunch of Zoom sessions to teach me. And then the musicians all recorded their songs from home. And then they were sent to an engineer in LA, and he put it together like a puzzle. And then I did go out to LA and do more vocals and fix things up. But we did it all, like the song From a Distance was never on the original album. It was never supposed to be a single, but someone said, we'll just do it from a distance. And they sung the song. And it was literally like, it's a song from a time and place, and it had a sound, and it's Bette Midler's song, and it's iconic, and that way it won Song of the Year. And I was like, but we do a different arrangement. I think it summed up the time because we all did the whole album from a distance. So we literally, I now can, like, I know a little bit about Logic and a little bit about recording now that I didn't know, but I still have no idea. Yeah. But we did it all, and it took a long time. It took over a year because we literally did it one piece at a time. No synthesizers are on the album. It's all live musicians. It's all live background singers. It's all new arrangements. So
fantastic.
It took a while. It took a while because we pieced it together literally piece by piece.
Yeah. Yeah, if there's one thing I can say about putting songs and albums together, especially, From a Distance, I've been doing that type of stuff too. It's certainly takes time. It's a test of patience,
Absolutely. And it was such a different world for me because I love, like, just give me a piano player and a stool and a microphone, and let me just have fun and do what I want. But it always intimidated me to get together with musicians and figure out arrangements and then sing with such people who have done such amazing work. So I was always very intimidated. But there was an intimacy to this project because everyone was home, and if we were doing it like we're talking right now, it really made it so much more of a collaborative effort than just you're in the studio, I'm in the studio, we just put this out over a weekend. We really had to work together to kind of make it work.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'll tell you this, I don't think anyone really knows this. The album, I believe, has a release date of July 2nd. I think it will be out, it's coming out July 2nd.
Fantastic.
It's literally will have been 16 or 17 months of working on it, but I think we're finally there. It's mixed, it's mastered, it's done. So I'm excited for people to hear it.
That's amazing. Yeah, I personally love the single. I'm a little on the younger side, I guess, so I didn't know the original song.
Yes. Even better.
Yeah. But the vocals were great. The strings actually really stuck out to me. I thought the strings sounded amazing. I'm not sure if that was one player, multiple players, or...
It was one person who did, well, there was two people. One person played violin and the other person played 3 string parts. And that whole and we did a live concert version that's going to come out, like an album release, like a virtual album release. We rented a theater space and we did it. And my one friend Drew played the violin part, and I was like, oh, this was not a super easy little part they wrote. Like I said, like I play piano and I'm a singer, but I don't, I look at the arrangement and this sounds like silly, but I didn't look at the string part until it was recorded, and I heard the demo and the MIDI file and the whole thing of it, and I was like, okay, it sounds pretty. And then he was like, no, this is not an easy part for me to play by myself here. And thank you for that. I was worried about singing the song because the song, if you're of a certain age like me, unlike you, God bless you to be young, I know it comes. It's a piece of, Bette Midler. Julie Gold wrote the song, and I sent it to her to ask her permission for the video because I had bought a mechanical license. Now this is so inside singing and songwriting, so I'm to people that are watching, I'm sorry, but you have to license these songs. She owns it, it's her copyright, and she listened to it and she was so sweet and supportive, and she was like, you don't need to pay a license for this. Like, I really am just happy that you're using the song. So she was so supportive, and as a person who remembers the song and remembers the song came out during the Gulf War, and it was a song about the Gulf War, and now to put it out in this time, I just think the message about space, the space that we are in right now, really was something that spoke to me. So I hope it translates through the screen. And though that video is people from Facebook who I just asked to send pictures and videos of their friends and their family, and said to them, can you please just show me how you're showing love to your family and friends during this time? And it all was stuff sent in. So it's really them that made the videos.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's what we all need, right? Just music about just like,
that's it.
How are you loving the people around you,
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right.
So you were a history teacher for the past 10 years. And as you said, unfinished business, you're going back and picking up on your music career. Were there any roadblocks to initially getting back? Like, did you continue singing while you were still a teacher? Did you kind of have to get your pipes back? Like, can you tell me about the process?
Sure. I started singing when I was 12 years old. I told my father that I didn't want to play sports. I wanted to be a singer. He was literally like the basketball coach of the team. And I was like, I'm terrible. I don't want to do this. I want to sing.
Yeah.
My parents were super supportive. And they brought me to the Bergen Mall in Paramus, to this dance studio, musical theater studio that's no longer there. That was like next to a Chinese food restaurant and a pizzeria. And in the middle was this Carol Naso musical theater dance class. So I took the classes and I did all the school shows, and then I started to really study music and classical music at that. And I went on an audition in New York City, and I ended up getting into the Juilliard Preparatory School, and I went and studied musical theater there. We were the first musical theater class and did a bunch of work, and then I got really sick with meningitis and chronic Lyme disease when I was in high school, and I was homeschooled and home instruction for 4 years. So then at 18 years old, after missing out the whole high school experience, I come back and say, okay, I want to sing. And I get asked to do an audition for Rent on Broadway to replace Adam Pascal as Roger in Rent in the original production. I messed the audition up so badly. I hadn't sung in years. And I just said that I don't have it in me. I don't know what I am. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. And I was like, I need something safe. I just don't feel like I have the confidence and the ability to do this. This business is hard. Yeah. There's so much rejection. And I was just like, I'm so out of the loop of it. So I stopped. I went and became a teacher. I became a history teacher, and I taught for 10 years. And then I had gotten 2 master's degrees, a master's degree in education, a master's degree in my principal's license. And I was really unhappy, to be honest. And I went to therapy, which all people should go to therapy of a certain age. And I went to, my therapist. I've seen my therapist so many times that I think she bought a house down the shore based on my visits alone. She said, what do you like to do for fun? And I didn't really have an answer. All I did was teach and work. And I said, I used to sing. And I went home and I told my brother, and my brother was like, why don't you try to do something again? And I started small. And small was doing local theater and community theater in New Jersey. And then it grew from there into getting, equity union work, and then television work. And then I felt like I had a story to tell. And so I wrote Unfinished Business to tell the story about coming back to the business. and it was a real learning experience. And I had it a lot easier. And I mean, I haven't done anything that amazing, but I've been very lucky. I think that the time and the education I got in college and then teaching has helped me become a better actor and become a better entertainer, because I got a little taste of the real world, and I try to incorporate that. That's beautiful, San Francisco. That's the beeping behind me. Yeah. I got a little taste of the real world, so I felt like I was able to bring that to the stage, and I think everything happens in its time. But the mantra of the album and the show, which I hope you come see it when the world finally opens, come bring your whole family, is that everyone has something they're scared to do. For me, it was music. It was something I wanted to do when I was very young, and I was always afraid to do it. And I was always scared and insecure, but it chased me my whole life. Yep. Everything I did, I all came back to the love of music. And let me tell you, I worked at the John Harm Center for the Arts in Englewood, which is now Bergen Pack, because I wanted to be around music. I wanted to be a music business major because I wanted to be around music. I went to every concert I could go to because I wanted to be around music, but I was too scared to just do it. Yeah. And then finally, it was the point where I was like, it doesn't have to be fame. I don't have to be rich. I don't have to sell 1 million records, but there's just something I feel like I want to say. So it just has been a battle of me just trying to get the confidence to keep going. Mm-hmm. So that's a long answer to a very simple question. I didn't sing for 10 years. I literally stopped. And then finally I got back to it.
Yeah. Well, isn't that the best feeling though, when you finally muster up that courage, and it's just been nagging at you, like you said, your whole life, and it's like, you know what, I'm doing this. You know, I'm forgetting all the past thoughts.
Yes, absolutely. And doing the show by myself and telling my story, the first time I did it, really was like a very freeing moment. It was a cathartic moment for me, because it was putting it all together, and everything happens in its time. I don't think when I was 18, I would have been able to handle it. I wasn't ready. But now at 21, no, at 37, I am now finally able to be comfortable in who I am. And I hope that is a mantra. I did a show New Year's Eve going into 2020, and I say at the end of every show, you know, there's something out there that everyone wants to do. And the man in the front row pointed to his wife, and he said, she wants to open an online craft store on Etsy, and she's scared. And that was so touching to me, because it's not about music. It's not about it's everything. Somebody wants to be a painter, and somebody wants to go to dance class, and somebody wants to open up a craft store. And, you know, there's something that we're all afraid to do. And at some point we should just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. You just gotta
just do it. Just like, just do it.
There you go. Yeah, maybe it'll sponsor us.
That's right. We're sponsored now by Nike. At least we don't need money. Just send us shoes and clothes.
Yeah, exactly. So while you were not singing, were you acting?
No.
No.
No. I was literally just teaching my little 5th grade students, which, do you want to become a good actor, teach 5th grade, because there's eyeballs on you all day and you put on a show all day. I went to see a show. I went to see an off-Broadway show called Invisible Thread, and I loved the story so much. It's now called Witness Uganda. It was a story about people going to Africa and helping students there, and it was the most beautiful music with these lines of beautiful melodies and this amazing band, and the show really moved me. So I ended up reaching out to the people who wrote it with a tweet, and I've never tweeted anyone. I didn't have a picture in my Twitter account. It was still like the light bulb or whatever that the default was. And I said, your show really moved me, and I wish I could be a part of something like that. And then they wrote back, and I said, I need voice lessons. I haven't done anything in 10 years. And they said, like, well, our show's gonna be over. We're in New York, like, come over and sing. So I went over with no book, no songs prepared, just a couple sheet music, and they became instrumental in helping me. In that summer, they said, why don't you go for acting lessons? And I went to a 6-week summer school program at William Esper Conservatory in New York City, which teaches this Meisner technique of acting. And at the end of it, they invited me to do 2 years. And I was like, I can't do a 2-year acting school. I'm a teacher. Like, and they were like, we have a Tuesday night class and a Saturday class all day. And I said, I'll pay you month by month, because when it gets too much, I'm going to leave. And I finished. And that program changed my life and gave me technique. And if it's musical theater, which gets a bad rep for having bad acting, because it's singing and dancing, but all television and monologues and real, even comedy. I spent 2 years with my big gay Italian wedding, and I toured around the United States playing Mario the best man. And even that serious acting school technique comes in great handy when you're doing comedy. And when I finally got to do Rent, or when I got to do, We Will Rock You, which is a Queen show, like to bring some acting technique to it, I hope makes the experience better. So
yeah,
acting school taught me how to be myself on stage and to be free. So for that, I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity to go to that school. My teacher's named Barbara Marchant. She's just retiring, and she is the queen. She's instrumental in helping so many people. So I'm kind of a newbie to acting. It's only been a couple of years, so it's something that I'm like really passionate about, because you're never perfect, and you can always work on it, and you always want to get better. And it's a little bit of a obsession to become a better actor. So
yeah. Well, I really admire your courage. I mean, you kind of chose the two most, what it would be like nerve-wracking, singing and acting. It's like, here's me, totally vulnerable as I can be. Like,
well, and that's what is so interesting about. If I get any feedback, it's not about the notes I sing. It's not about how good of an actor I am. It's none of that. I want you to feel like when you listen to my album, or you come to see a show of mine, like I want to have a conversation. I want it to be like you're in my living room and we're friends and we're talking, because I think that at the end of the day, the music we love and the movies and television shows that we love, the plays we love, are the things that touch us. So like what comes from the heart goes to the heart. And that is, we're not going to remember the high B flat I sing, or flat or sharp.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to remember that. You're going to remember, the way that someone makes you feel. So it's hard to be vulnerable, and it's hard to share, your insecurities and the fears and the things you've done well and the things you haven't. But I think that's at the end of the day what makes good art universal. So I try to, break your heart and make it art. So that's what I try to do.
That's amazing. So
we'll see if successfully or not.
Yeah. When did you realize that you wanted a career in entertainment?
I think, yeah, well, if you only score one shot in the whole season, you know that basketball is not for you. I think that we did fifth grade at Roosevelt School in Richfield Park, New Jersey, where I was born and raised. We did The Wizard of Oz, and they cast me as the Tin Man, and I was so bad. They like laughed at me in the audience. I had no confidence and no singing voice. And I had this little voice in me that was like, you got to get better because you kind of like this. Like I loved musicals. I loved music. My parents were really big into music. So I knew that they influenced that in me a lot and encouraged me to take these lessons. And from that age, I was obsessed. I wanted to listen to every record and album I could get my hands on. I remember, getting my first part-time job and going to Sam Goody on Friday with my paycheck to buy new CDs. That's way before your time, but for the people watching, you know what that is.
Yeah.
And listening to try to just get as much information as I can. I loved old music. I loved new music. I just loved to be around music and art. So from a very young age, but I really repressed it and hid it and pushed it down because of fear. Yeah. So, but I knew at 10 years old that I used to hang up sheets in my living room and have a karaoke machine and just want to put on fake concerts, and my parents would come home from work and I would have taken the sheets off my parents' bed and written my name in giant Sharpie, Robert Bannon live, and use it as a curtain because I just was eternally trying to put on a show. So
that's amazing.
I think the lesson that I've learned this time is like, if that's what you have in you and you're 10, it's probably going to be in you when you're 37 too. Yeah. So you might as well just fight the fight and accept it. So I'm trying my best to see where the road leads.
Yeah. You find that the obviously there's like an element, like, do you still get stage fright, I guess? Or are you just
I am
going?
I am the worst memorizer in the world. So I don't get nervous about the melody. I don't get nervous about how my voice sounds. I don't get nervous about being funny or having a good time, I don't know the words to anything. I have done. I got to do Rent. And Be Roger. And every night in the front row, if someone was wearing a Rent shirt, I would sweat because I would be like, I'm not. I say some songs. I just make up words sometimes if they don't come to me. And I was like, these people are going to be like, he doesn't know what he's doing. So I have extreme anxiety about lyrics. I have extreme anxiety about lines. That stuff makes me nervous.
Yeah.
That's why I like the one-man show, because it's mine and I could just be a tornado and say whatever I want and do a song over again. But in a musical or on set, you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's where my anxiety lies. And it's been a constant challenge. I really have to work on memories. And you like ginkgo biloba, like some memory vitamin, because it's shot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I hear you have an unusual story about how you got on SNL.
Oh, gee, yeah, I guess it is. I was at home at my mother's house. It was a Thursday night, and I got an email from this. It said her name was Brittany, and she was casting at SNL, and it was sent to my regular Gmail email with no like signature on the email. It was all lowercase, nothing was capitalized. And I'm like, look at this spam email from someone trying to get my information. What are they going to say? Like, I have $10 million in a bank account. If I give my social security number, they'll let, like, I was like, this is such a spam email. And I Googled her name, and then it ended up that she was the casting director for Saturday Night Live. And she asked for pictures, and she said to me, we can't use you because your hair's too long. So I was like, what do you mean? It's just like, it's for a sketch that's of the time. It was when the TSA, when the America wasn't letting people from the Middle East, certain countries come here. And it was a sketch about the TSA letting anybody go through unless you were from a Middle Eastern country. So they needed someone who had this blonde hair, blue eyes, shaved head.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So I said to her, well, I love Saturday Night Live. I grew up. I remember the first episode I watched. It was at my friend Argytis Christophes is his last name. He was my best friend. It was this Greek family. We stayed up late at his birthday party, and he showed me Saturday Night Live. I was like, I want to do it. I said, I'll go to the Supercuts around the corner in Fort Lee, New Jersey, and I will get my head shaved. And she was like, you would? And I said, to be on Saturday Night Live, I would. I will go and have my head shaved to be on the show. And I went, and the casting director, they hired me, and they laughed about me shaving my head for this. And then they've called me back, like, I think I've done almost 22 episodes now, from little mini parts where I'm just a person in a jury or a person in the White House press corps, to being a principal and getting to work hand in hand with the director or the choreographer on the show. Being in that space, in that studio, is like, surreal. They pay me to be there. I became a member of the Screen Actors Guild because of Saturday Night Live. I've gotten to, work with all these amazing artists because of Saturday Night Live. So I call it the best part-time job in the world.
Yeah, definitely.
All because I shaved my head. It's memorable. I found a way to be memorable, and I didn't even mean it. Like, she just always thought of me as like the guy who shaved his head. So they would call me. So it was the best $12 haircut I ever got. For sure.
Simple as that. I'm sure it's a good story.
If anyone,
that too.
Yeah, if anyone needs a good suggestion on how to make it in showbiz, firstly tell me, because I don't know the answer. Secondly, just shave your head.
Yeah. Let's see who wants you to shave your head. That's hilarious. So I'm gonna pivot back to music real quick.
Sure.
That's my forte. I see some names.
I know. What do you play? What do you do?
Oh, I play guitar, and I recently started singing, dealing with the same battles of courage that I think everybody kind of goes through when it begins to that.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
You play guitar, then I need to hire you. We need to do a gig. Okay.
Easy enough.
Watch out.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'll come to LA. I'll come to San Fran.
Come out. We're gonna.
Yeah.
We'll be back in Jersey always. So that's still home. So
amazing.
Good.
Patti LaBelle, George Benson, Whoopi Goldberg. Can you tell me about that?
It sounds so obnoxious. Thank you for bringing that up. But like, even in my head, I'm like, this is not my life. My first job ever as a professional singer was at 12 years old with Patti LaBelle at the Beacon Theater. It was a tribute to the songwriter Lauren Nero, who wrote, for Three Dog Night and for Barbra Streisand and for The Fifth Dimension. And she had just passed away, and Patti LaBelle was headlining it. And they asked 4 people from the Juilliard Prep School to come do a solo with her and do background vocals for her as she did the finale. And what's so funny is I was 12, my mom dropped me off. I didn't have any parents there. It was like, oh, have a good day, have fun. And I just walked in and, and she was incredibly sweet. And then I got to do a song with her later because I went to see a concert, and we always had people that had kind of stayed in touch, either a background singer or at the time her husband was her manager. And then I got to be pulled up on stage and sing with her again. So I'm really grateful because R&B music, I don't sing it really, but it's where my heart lives. Like, I love that old school R&B sound. It's my favorite. George Benson and Whoopi Goldberg emceed that night. She was so incredibly sweet to us at 12. She was so funny and kind. And George Benson is an Englewood dude. So George Benson, I got to sing with him at the John Harms, which is now Bergen Pack. And when they closed the John Harms, before it was Bergen Pack, George Benson was vital in helping get it opened, and we did fundraisers and stuff together. And he was so incredibly nice. And I literally pinched myself. Talk about a jazz singer and guitar player and person. He's it's been really something amazing to see people who really know what they're doing and have had amazing careers, and just be able to be a fly on the wall and watch them whenever an opportunity comes to see that, which is rare. And I'm incredibly grateful and incredibly blessed, truly.
Yeah.
For those opportunities.
I would say that's, I don't know, to me, I get the impression that like that might be unique to New Jersey, to be able to get so close to all these people. It might be a secret. We shouldn't tell anybody, but
no, I don't come here and invade in our territory. But we get a bad reputation for being like that, like the New York's like evil redheaded stepchild. But there's so much talent. There's so many people that are actors and singers and musicians. And I always say, like, people say, why don't you live in New York? And I say, well, I live in New Jersey and I see New York. Then you pay double, triple the rent to look at New Jersey. Like, we have it better on this side of the river. I think it's the better side. We could be an hour, we were at the beach, in 15 minutes we're in New York City, and we have every mall and diner in the world. So I rep for Jersey hard.
Yeah.
I always rep Jersey. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
You lost me.
Got you.
Welcome to live. Here.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. All right. You mentioned R&B. I just want to ask you one quick question about just musical influences, inspiration. Who do you love? Who do you listen to?
Okay, well, listen, I sing all this old stuff. I sing all these Sinatra standards, and I love all of that. But I love R&B, and I really do love hip hop. Like, if you see me on a run, like, I want the most ratchety, mess hip hop music ever. But when I was 12 years old and I got that karaoke machine, this is my corny story. My parents were cool. My parents liked Earth, Wind & Fire and Carly Simon, and they were into the singer-songwriter James Taylor thing and all of that. And then I came along and got a karaoke machine, and it came with a tape of the karaoke versions of the songs by Barry Manilow, and I fell in love. I just did. He's the showmanship and the dramatics of it. It's aside from the cheese of it all, I just loved the drama and the to it. So I wanted to be him so badly. He's like the influence that I started. But I talk about Jersey. Like, I grew up loving Whitney. I think she's got the most beautiful voice of all time. Her at her prime is the greatest singer of our generation. And I listen to all the old school R&B stuff, Aretha and Patti and Gladys and all of that. That music is what moves me. And then nowadays, like, I love the people that are doing the stuff that I try to do, like the Bublé's and the Grobins and there's fun music out there still. I know people joke about current music not being great, but Elton, it was the first concert I ever saw at Madison Square Garden. I wanted to play the piano because he played the piano. So I love music. It lights me up, so I'm always excited to talk about it. And those are the big ones that really influence me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I guess we're about wrapping up here. Is there anything that you want to plug? Tell the people what's going on. Tell them what you're doing. We talked about your album. Is there anything?
Well, thank you. I will say this: the album music right now, right here, this guy is
Look at
playing
that.
away.
Look at that.
It's everywhere. Music is universal. There is a project that I'm a part of called the Broadway Cast Reunion Series. We do 2 of them a month. It's a live show. If you go to BroadwayCastReunion.com, Wednesday we have the creators of Jersey Boys. We just did Frozen, Hadestown, Dear Evan Hansen. I miss Broadway because I didn't tell you in my influences. I was majorly influenced by Broadway and show tunes growing up. I love musical theater, so we're getting groups of original Broadway casts together, and then performing arts centers around the country get to show it to their subscribers and make some money. And we're paying these Broadway cast members to just talk to us for an hour, and they get paid to help artists who have been out of work. Because I know I've been lucky in the sense that as an educator, I still am able to have a means to make a living. But there's so many people in the arts that have not had any income for the past year. And if you look out on, to be a shameless plug, but if you go to robertbannon.com, you can see the live concert version of the album, which features Jane Monheit, who's a Grammy-nominated jazz vocalist, recording artist Lauren Smith, who has been toured with everybody, and all of the musicians and everything, and me. So doing the album live, it'll be the weekend of 4th of July. So if you go on the website, you can buy a ticket. You could support them and me as an artist, and hopefully, be on the road soon. And I can't wait for you to play with me. I can't wait to do a show. I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait to get out and play some live music again. I'm sure you're feeling that bug too. He's just
same. I think the first day back is very emotional. I think that this, to be on stage again and have people be able to come and see it, if it's 5 people or 500 people, I think just the fact that we will be able to have see music. I think that this is what I listen to when I'm jogging. Is that what he's listening to? I think that music is to do it live again is going to be very emotional for people, because I think a lot of people miss it. I hope that this year we come out of this with a renaissance, with a whole new appreciation for art. People have been home resting their voice, writing new music, writing new musicals, writing new movies and television shows, and I have the bug for sure.
Yeah,
I have the bug. I'm itchy, and I'm counting the days to be able to jump back out there and to do it.
It's the Roaring 20s are coming again. Calling it.
That's right. I'm ready. I know you're ready.
Excited.
Yes. And I think people have been starved for it. I saw that Green Room 42, which is a cabaret space in New York City, they released their first weekend, and it sold out in a day, because I think people are like, oh my God, there's live music. Oh my God, there's a performer. I can go somewhere and be with, and I think that it's only going to get better, hopefully, from here.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing but up.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
It's been beyond a pleasure to talk to you.
No.
You're a wonderful human being.
No, you are. And I love that what you're doing and this platform, and I'm going to share it with everybody. But the fact that you give people like me a platform to speak and to tell my story and to talk about what I'm doing is really, really important. And really, I really appreciate it, because from one artist to another, we don't get to do what we do without people who help us. So it really takes a village. So to you and the whole team over there with you, I really send my sincere gratitude and thanks for letting me be a part of your show today.
Well, thank you so much.